Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Today, we're going to talk about the new Final Fantasy set and all the hype, and a little bit about Tarir as well. Welcome to our new singles shipping room. This is all last week. We were working on getting this built and set up. We still have things to put up on the walls and some stuff like that. But I wanted to share with you guys. Last week, I didn't have any videos. I apologize. It was a really terrible week last week. I'm still trying to hobble around on my foot. We were doing this. We had some other stuff pop up. So I just did not have the time to make any content. But now we do. So I want to chat about Final Fantasy because everybody is reaching out to me. Louie, when are you going to put up pre-orders for Final Fantasy? When are you going to start doing Gold Wizard stuff for Final Fantasy? When are you going to have all product available for Final Fantasy? And it's like, oh my gosh, we don't even have Tarir up yet. Distro doesn't even have Tarir up for the next set for Magic the Gathering, and people are already asking about Final Fantasy. So it's a little bit crazy, but we are going to get into it. First off, with Tarir, I'm super stoked for the things that were spoiled this weekend with Tarir. It seems like a tried and true Magic the Gathering set that really feels like Magic the Gathering. I didn't feel that way for Aether Drift. Tarir, I think, is going to be a really, really good feel. It's kind of similar to like Lost Caverns of Ixalan, that kind of feeling that generates the Magic the Gathering player excitement. Like the average Magic the Gathering person is going to be excited about Tarir. You've got dragons. I think that set's going to be super good. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Final Fantasy and what's going to happen. What are allocations going to look like? What is supply going to look like? What is the market going to do with this product? How are you going to be able to get it? First and foremost, I want to start out by saying the one and only kind of comparable thing that we have for Final Fantasy is Lord of the Rings, which is the #1 selling Magic set of all time. Higher selling than Modern Horizons 2, the #1 selling set of all time. That is the only thing we have to compare because of the IP, because of the release cadence, because of the way that this is going. That being said, Lord of the Rings, I feel anyway, had significantly more hype and excitement behind it from the non-Magic the Gathering player base. You had people, start streaming. You had QTC or whatever it is. You had all these major streamers that get the kids that are younger than me interested in the game. You had all these people chasing that one ring. Obviously, you had the Post Malone hype with buying the one ring. You had all these things setting up to build the hype behind Lord of the Rings. I don't think that we're going to get back that way. I don't think the attention that was on Magic the Gathering as a result of the Lord of the Rings set will be on Magic the Gathering as a result of the Final Fantasy set. In my opinion, as a normie, I don't have a big Final Fantasy background. Lord of the Rings is way more popular than Final Fantasy in terms of like the average person knowing about it and caring about it. That being said, so I think the hype is going to be, a little bit bigger for Lord of the Rings. That being said, I think in the culture of Magic the Gathering, the culture of game stores, I think Final Fantasy has a lot of big impact too. So I think you are going to see kind of the current Magic the Gathering player base and people who hang out in game stores be excited about Final Fantasy. So I do think this is going to be a pretty hyped set. I just don't think we're going to get to Lord of the Rings level public excitement over the set, public discussion over the set. Now, let's talk about allocation, about what to expect. First and foremost, the prices are pretty high. They're right up there, I think a little bit beyond Modern Horizons 3 pricing, which obviously was a little bit increased from the previous stuff. So it's up there. The prices are high. I think your current pre-order prices are still, they're going to come down a little bit. I think that the world of pre-ordering Magic, again, it's just silly to me. I don't know why everybody does it. I don't really, stores do it, and I don't touch it. We don't do pre-orders until I kind of know our numbers and kind of have a feeling about what exactly is going to do that. I do not think that Final Fantasy is going to be like Fallout was. With Fallout, we all got like 6 to 12 collector boxes from each distribution center. That's not going to be the case with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is going to be a full-on release that is large. There's going to be a lot of product from Final Fantasy. That being said, anybody that's doing like an open pre-order, I think that's a little bit audacious to go through and do an open pre-order for a product like this, because I do think there are going to be cuts. There is going to be allocation because the demand is going to be very, very high. I had somebody reach out to me about Commander decks, and with Aether Drift, they have reduced the supply of Commander decks on release. Now, I think we will get restocks, kind of how we typically do, but I'm afraid, not of play boosters, but of collector boxes and of the Commander decks, that we're going to see a pretty heavy cut like we did with Aether Drift on release, and then in the background of that, you'll have restocks and that kind of thing. So I would be very cautious about doing pre-orders with somebody who doesn't have a good reputation, that kind of thing. I would kind of slow yourself back. Don't buy into the FOMO of pre-order. This set comes out in months. There's plenty of time to figure out product leading up to this. Go talk to your local game store. They just put up pre-orders at Distro like this week. We're not going to have allocations. We're not going to have numbers for like 2 months, everybody. Like it's going to be fine. There's lots of other things to talk about and lots of other things to do. So, but the hype is going to be there. The excitement is going to be there. And I think the Commander decks look really cool. I think that the set looks really cool. I'm not sure we're going to get to like best selling set of all time. But the second side of this video that I want to talk about is that Lord of the Rings came out in a market that was much more tame than the current market that we are in Final Fantasy. So the question mark for me with Final Fantasy and the secondary market and the supply and the demand isn't necessarily how good is Final Fantasy. A lot of it comes down to how good is the overall market still. If we are still in this gigantic bull run of excitement for TCGs, and we drive that into Final Fantasy release, Final Fantasy could become a runaway train pretty quickly. Even with some restocks and even with some things, if the set's good, if the cards are good, if people enjoy it, and on top of that it becomes collectible and whatever, and on top of that you have this market that is just on fire where everything sells. You can put a bunch of people riding motorcycles into a Magic set and it sells. Like, you can do whatever you want, and it's selling right now. Like, that kind of drive will be really, really, depending on your perspective, good or bad for the velocity of sales on the market and the way that the market moves for this product. That being said, if we switch in the next couple months from bull market, everybody's buying everything, to, economy kind of starts collapsing a little bit, TCGs start losing their luster a little bit, I think this could become a set because they have to print it high. They have to print enough boxes to match the IP demand and cost. I know people disagree with that when I say it. There is a cost to Wizards of the Coast for doing Final Fantasy as opposed to cars in space. Like, there's a difference for what they have to do. So they have to make up with that either by increasing prices, which they didn't really do. Like, they're basically Modern Horizons prices a little bit more expensive because you get a little bit less packs, but it's basically Modern Horizons 3 prices. But they have to make up for it with the velocity of sales. The reason they're doing the IP crossovers is because they think it will sell more boxes than the other thing that they're doing. So they have to increase the number of boxes. So if they do that, marked with the economy, the market kind of crashes, you could see some negative side effects of Final Fantasy. Again, third time I'm saying that. That being said, Final Fantasy's IP is still good enough to absorb most of the downside risk, especially for stores. If you're in at like the distribution pricing, I don't see a world where we are into like a Baldur's Gate scenario where the prices on the open market are 20% less than distribution costs. So if you sell it, you're taking a 35% loss. I don't think that we're getting into anything of that world. I still think this is a very, very safe set for those of you who do have access to distribution or in a distribution program like my Gold Wizard program at the Discord server. I think when you are going through and thinking about what to spend on this set, I guess this isn't advice. This is what I am doing. I am still going very heavy on Final Fantasy to see what happens, because I see the demand is there, I see the attention is there, and I think the cards are going to be fun to play. If there's a crossover in the world, Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy, they kind of fit the Magic the Gathering theme of swords and swords. I was saying cards, and it came out as cars, and that's the opposite of what I was trying to say. But swords and fighting and back and forth and combat and that kind of thing, they kind of fit that narrative of Magic the Gathering. And so I think that really does well for the thing. So those of you who are reaching out to me, the Gold Wizards, thank you so much for your support. Be patient. We will have pre-orders. Once we get through the other stuff, we'll have pre-orders up and that kind of stuff. We're going to do it the same way that we always do it, which is that you put down a 20% deposit, and then whatever you order, I order, and then I also order my stuff, and then we do our allocation based on my percentage allocation. So that's how that works, and then you get your money back where you paid your money for your 20% or whatever. So yeah, hopefully you guys are excited about Final Fantasy. Let me know in the comment section below, and let me know what you're excited about, and we'll move on. Have yourselves a great day. Thank you for the patience on the channel. Again, it was just a rough week last week. We got through it. So we'll see you guys next video, and be kind to the people around you.